Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that a lot of you are probably feeling right now. I know I am. And it's being young in the 2026 economy, or just being young in general within the past 5, maybe even 10 years. If you're in your 20s or 30s right now, you got sky-high housing prices, with starter homes in many cities pushing up to crazy evaluations. Rent is eating half of your paycheck, and your wage is not keeping up like you'd think they will. If you went to college, then your student loans are still lingering around, and the job market for entry-level roles is absolutely abysmal, and it's practically non-existent. After the pandemic, companies surged in hiring, and they've now slowed down. So even if you have a bachelor's degree, you still might struggle to find a good role. Inflation may have slowed down recently, but the damage is already done, and we are feeling the repercussions of that. The good news is, it's not all doom and gloom. The same economic conditions that have made it this hard have also provided a lot of opportunities. Especially if you're young like myself, we have time on our side, which is a benefit. Before we get into steps on how we can combat the current economic state, we need to talk about the problems that we currently have. Starting off with the housing market, it's completely broken for young people right now. It's kind of rigged against us, so we're going to have to work extra hard to combat that. The current median home buyer age is 40 years old. This is the highest it's ever been, and it only seems to be going up, with people needing six-figure salaries just to get a decent entry house. As far as the job market currently, entry-level roles are extremely weak, and AI is starting to eat up those roles that have lower skill ceilings, and we've seen stuff like this from Amazon with them laying off tons of workers, entry and median level jobs, due to their AI products taking their roles. Wages are extremely sluggish right now as well, which is very, very worrying compared to the inflation that we've seen recently. Debt and gambling has had a huge rise, with a lot of unpaid student loans and delinquent credit cards, and the rise of Afterpay services, with numbers like 90% of the Coachella visitors using Afterpay to finance their trip there. The mix of this with low wages is a problem because people are essentially stealing from themselves and drowning themselves in debt when they can barely afford to live alone. Gambling has also been pushed heavily, and I like to gamble here and there, but with the mass amount of sports betting and Kalshi and Polymarket and even Robinhood and Interactive Brokers, everyone seems to be pushing, hey, you should bet on this, bet on that, and trying to get people to essentially blow their money, because once you get caught gambling and you get stuck in that cycle, it's just a bad recipe. Furthermore, everything is trying to add a subscription service now, and or raising the price of their current subscription service. So not only are you paying late payments on your credit cards, gambling the cash that you do make from your low-paying job, they're also taking money for literally every service you could want and need monthly, so that you constantly have $10 here, $10 there, $10 there, until you have $300 worth of stuff that you don't really need. With all those disadvantages being said, you do have a uphill battle to face, but age is a superpower in this situation, and compound interest and skill building is extremely important, especially if you're young. The older generation did not have to face what we have to face today, especially with the fact that our money is practically worthless, but they did not have the tools that we have today either, so you can use that to your advantage. One of the ways you can do this is by having a watertight budget. I'm sure you've all heard of the 50-30-20 budget, but that just isn't going to cut it here. So we're going to try to do a 60-20-20. 60% of that's going towards your rent, your food, your minimum debt payments, transportation, stuff like that. 20% of that's going to go to your wants, like clothing that you want, or you want a new bag, or you want a video game if you're into that, or you want this, you want that. Essentially anything that isn't a necessity, that will be in this category. The other 20% will be used for paying back debt, especially high interest debt, and investing in setting up an emergency fund, which I recommend doing first. It might seem tedious, but if you're starting out and you're in a really disadvantaged position like I was just last year, you might want to start off by tracking every single dollar for 30 days and seeing if you can free up an extra couple $100. Even if it's $100 or $200, it might help, especially if you're starting out with low income. When setting up your emergency fund, you need 3 to 6 months of expenses, and you need to do some research and see if your field or your current role that you have is easily or will easily be replaced by AI. Because if you are in a role that, even if it's high paying, can possibly be booted out by AI in the near future, you definitely want on the higher end, like maybe 6 to 8, maybe even 12 months. This will be your best defense against a scenario where you get laid off and you're struggling to find work and you don't have to go into high interest debt in order to keep yourself afloat. After you have that set up, you need to focus on if you have any high interest debt, like credit cards or any high interest bank loans that you may have gotten at any point, and you need to pay those off as quick as possible. I would recommend doing way more than your minimum payment. Otherwise, you're just going to be paying it till you're 80 years old. Once you've paid off your high interest debt and you've got an honest budget in front of you, you need to start focusing on investing early and often. And I know it's a cliche, but time in the market beats timing the market every single time. Personally, myself, I am currently investing while still having student loan debt. And I think that's okay strategy to go about as long as your student loan debt is not 12%. And I think it's actually a better strategy to get as much of your loan value invested in the markets before you start making huge payments on a lower interest loan. No matter what your pay schedule is, I recommend every single paycheck, dollar cost averaging. You can set up a recurring investment on almost every single brokerage nowadays, and they'll automatically take it straight out of your check as soon as you get it, and you can invest it right from there. Obviously, ETFs are going to be the safer form of long-term investing. You can dollar cost average into VOO or QQQ and get exposure to a lot of great American companies. But since you're young, I think it would be better to have a good portion of your portfolio be in individual stocks. It's very important to do your research on the stocks before you throw all your money into it, but any of the Mag 7 are a great place to start, and from there you can learn more and research other companies that you think have good upside. Another great plan of action, which I'm starting to get into now, is finding other income streams outside of your full-time 9-to-5 job. And that can be either a side hustle or getting another job or trying to figure out ways to make money online. Any of these strategies will work, and you just have to put in the hours to be able to get to where you want to be. It's definitely important too, if you're doing a lot of valuable work for your company at your full-time job, to ask for a raise, even if it can be awkward, because asking and being told no is better than never asking and having the opportunity to get an increase in pay. With that being said though, long gone are the days of working at the same company for 50 years. You can just job hop around nowadays. Obviously, don't quit your job until you have an opportunity lined up, but if you can get 10 to 20% increases in pay every 2 to 3 years from switching jobs, that's definitely the way to go. It's also important to think longer term as far as your housing. You may not be able to buy a house now, but you can house hack in different ways, such as having roommates or finding places that are cheaper to live temporarily and splitting the difference between what a mortgage would be at a place and saving that money. This is something I kind of wish I had done. Me and my girlfriend kind of let our lifestyle inflate, and we got a place that is extremely nice and it brings a lot of quality of life, but it costs a lot more and it makes it harder to save and invest. The most important part about all this is the mindset shift that you need to have, because most of the wealth is built in your 30s to 50s, and you just need to track your wins either quarterly or monthly and just see your progress over time and be happy with that. I personally track my net worth twice a month, once on the 1st and once on the 15th, and it's been growing up over time, but I'm still like negative 1K. Just a quick recap. Even though we have very problematic economic conditions, we have oil barrels moving like meme coins up and down and large record-setting volatility right now, there's still opportunity throughout all of that to be able to grow your wealth and set yourself up for the future. This doesn't make personal finance easy by any means, but it is doable. The payoff you will get from your freedom will make it all the while worth it. If you're related to this video at all, I'd really appreciate you drop a like and subscribe if you would like to see more content like this or similar. I will be coming out with more videos, and drop a comment with any topics you'd like me to talk about or go over. I'll try to reply to all the comments if I can, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video, and you got this, man.